The Trump administration will officially begin refunding businesses after the Supreme Court ruled against the president's tariff agenda. Companies are lining up to try to get their money back through a brand new federal claims system. But even as the refunds roll out, President Trump not backing down on tariffs. He's got big plans to continue pushing aggressive trade measures, arguing they're critical to protect American industry and jobs. I'll get to some of the tariff agenda in a minute, but Lauren, I wanted to come to you on the refunds because I'm curious how you're thinking about this from the market perspective. I was hearing, and I want to make sure I don't get my words caught up, but I believe in the second and the third quarter, as companies start getting these refunds, they effectively, on their income statement, mark down the cost of goods sold, which boosts their margins. So instead of saying the cost of the good that I sold you was $10, with the refund, it was only $9, and that boosts the margins if I haven't sold the inventory. So you could see massive boost in earnings in the second quarter and the third quarter of this year.
Right.
And it could be all financial engineering effectively from the refunded tariffs. Is that also sort of a boon for the market?
That would be. That is the case, pending we're confident that everyone gets their refunds in a 60 to 90 day period. I think this is so much more convoluted than that. It's a logistical mess. I mean, what if you're a retailer and you paid a middleman to get your goods and then you apply for the refund and the middleman gets it, then the middleman has to give it to you. I don't know how this is going to work in reality, but I do know the administration is like 5 steps ahead, and they're already working on different ways. Section 232, Section 301, to get duties from companies that are essentially not doing what they want them to do, produce more here in the U.S., hire more American workers, and bring down the price of items for Americans. So I think this is going to be stuck in the courts again, and just this entanglement. And the president is saying, we're going to get you one way or another if you don't do as I say. And these are the rules of the road for the next 3 years.
So Kennedy, the woman normally in that chair, says we need the tariffs because it's pulling in massive amount of money that we need.
The one who was chicka bow bow and had to sayonara? That lady?
What? Dagan.
No, she's talking about Dagan.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the lady.
Dagan.
Literally.
Okay.
And literally in your chair. We need the tariff money. We need the revenue. Our 10-year yield is going up.
We don't have a revenue problem. We got plenty of revenue in this country. We have a spending problem. That's the problem in this country. The government spends too much money, so they invent new things like tariffs. Tariffs are a tax. Taxes hurt the middle class. I've never been a fan of tariffs, and this is also another reason I don't like them, because the tariff whim can be overturned by the courts, and then the backlash is a bureaucratic mathematical nightmare. The other thing is, if you get a big liberal who's the next president, they will use tariffs to torture people with a green agenda. Yeah, they're going to be like, well, no, you don't have solar, you don't have wind, therefore I'm going to charge a 350% tariff on your realm.
That's how they say it too.
In that voice.
Exactly. That's how commies talk, Brian. You know that.
I know. It's
very
true.
nasal.
Jump in, Brian.
Okay, so my main thing with this refund deal is the refunds go to the people who you can figure out. Like, you know, there's a name there, so company X or importer X or whatever gets the refund. But it doesn't go necessarily to the people who paid the tariff, okay? If you believe that absolutely zero tariffs were passed on to consumers, then I guess this works okay. But if you think they were passed on, and I think they were to some degree or another, those people never get the money. So the companies had to pay the tariffs. They probably raised prices a little bit. And now they're getting the tariff money back, and they got the higher price from the consumer. So who doesn't end up with a win here? The consumer, which is why I don't like the way the Supreme Court did this, saying you got to pay them back, figure it out, because I don't think there's a ton of justice here. The money doesn't go where it's supposed to go. And so in the meantime, what happens is taxpayers do get stuck with a higher deficit this year, and they do get stuck with more debt on their backs this year. So it's like it's a win for whoever's name was on the page at Customs and Border, but that's about it.
Jackie, I am surprised. I thought for sure that if this Supreme Court struck it down, they would say the past is past, and then here's the plan going forward. I'm actually surprised that we are doing refunds.
Yeah.
We can talk about that another day, but your thoughts on that and other tariffs?
I'm surprised that we're doing refunds, and I'm surprised the system's up and running so quickly, to be perfectly honest with you. I agree with Brian that it's the consumer who's ultimately getting the shaft here. This is not, because we paid for things and it was baked in. Nobody said we did not. I don't remember any company really saying we didn't raise prices at all. They said we're eating most of it, we're offsetting it in this way or that way. So I think it's important to remember that. But also, if you sit in that chair, you have to talk about interest payments on our national debt. She would say that
you need some spreadsheets.
It's what, $100 billion a month?
Right. Internalized them.
I would say that the tariff revenue was only a drop in the bucket compared to what we're paying in those interest payments, but we do need the money at the same time. So I don't know where we stand with this. As they start to get this system up and running, I also want to see what their tariff revision process is going to be. They're rewriting using different sections and different codes, because I know the president's not done with this. But
I've been passed now before the House flips.
I've been very distracted by the war, and so I forgot about this issue entirely.
Because it's boring and confusing
Well,
and expensive for everybody. For the lawyers, the companies, us. Sorry.
Talking about confusing, I mean, we sat here in this chair for all of last year after Liberation Day and said all of the San Francisco Fed, the New York Fed analysis shows that there's 30 different people in the supply chain. And if they each eat a penny of the dollar in tariff, by the time it gets to the consumer, most of that's been eaten by the supply chain. So now we're going to go to Walmart and say, go back through your 30 suppliers and figure out who in your supply chain had the tariff cost. To me, that seems like a lot, and that's a lot of work to put on a company when their primary point of business, if I was on a board of director of a company, I would say, that's not our business. Our business is serving our customer. And now I'm spending time distracted by trying to figure out the refund in my supply chain.
Yeah.
To me, that is very complicated, but again, we'll have to see if that impacts earnings, and no, that won't flow to the customer, Brian, but we'll see how that turns out.
You know who is the master of the supply chain? Tim Cook.
Oh, he is.
We did that last hour, Kennedy.
Real quick,
The greedy
Tim Apple.
corporation narrative, though, and I don't
does.
like that.
Yep.
So that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, hopefully they then take that and then cut prices. We'll have to see what they do.
I just think the consumer is okay, at least now, despite $4 gasoline. Look at retail sales this morning. Yes, it was driven by an 18% annual jump in the price of gas, but we shopped online, we bought electronics. All the numbers looked okay. Only 2 categories fell. So I don't know. I think the death of the consumer, that story is a bit dramatized.
More than okay. The retail sales control group that factors into GDP up 0.7% in March, a 4.8% annualized rate for the quarter as a whole. They think Atlanta Fed GDP jumps on this report. I'll check it on the break. We'll see.